everybody, and today we are going to do this one of the great books, The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This book is regarded by many as the greatest book of our century, of the last century. And let's start. And as per our policy, we'll take 5 minutes for each video, so that we can savor and enjoy the process. Chapter one. At about 9 o'clock one morning, At about 9 o'clock one morning, at the end of November, during a thaw, THAW, a train of the St. Petersburg Warsaw line was approaching St. Petersburg at full force. Such were the damp and the fog, such were the damp, DAMP, the wetness, and the fog, all vapor, that it took some time, it was a while before daylight broke. Daylight broke means daylight came. At 10 yards to the right and the left of the track, it was hard to make out anything. 10 yards, it was hard to make out anything at all from the windows of the carriage. The passengers, included some returning from abroad. But the third class compartments were the most crowded, with ordinary folk, people, and those on business who had not traveled far. Everyone, as is usually the case, was tired. Everyone, as is usually the case, was tired, with eyes heavy after the night. Everyone was cold. Every face was pale yellow, the color of the fog. In one of the third class carriages, since dawn, two passengers had found themselves opposite each other. Found themselves means they happened to be there. Opposite each other, close by the window. Both young men, both with almost no luggage to speak of, both unostentatiously dressed, both with rather remarkable facial features, and both wishing to enter into conversation with the other. If each had known what was especially remarkable about each other at that moment, they would certainly have marveled at chance. That chance had so strangely put them opposite each other in a third class carriage of the Warsaw St. Petersburg train. One of them was rather short, about 27, with almost black curly hair and small, grey but fiery eyes. His nose was broad and flat, and he had high cheekbones. His thin lips were constantly creased in a kind of brazen, mocking, and even cruel smile. But his brow was high and well formed, and did much to compensate for the ignominy means not noble, developed lower part of his face. Especially striking in that face was its deathly pallor, like very pale, which gave the whole of the young man's physiognomy, face, an emaciated look. Emaciated means all color gone away. In spite of his rather sturdy build, very sturdy, at the same time imparting to it something passionate, to the point of suffering that was out of harmony with his coarse and insolent smile and his harsh, self satisfied gaze. Self satisfied gaze. On the one hand, he was smiling, on the other hand, there was suffering in his eyes. He was warmly dressed in a wide black wool lined sheepskin overcoat and had not felt the cold overnight, whereas his neighbor had been compelled to endure on his shivering back all the delights of a damp November Russian night, for which he was obviously not prepared. He wore a rather capacious, thick, sleeveless coat, uh, with an enormous head, of the kind often used in winter. In such far off places such as Switzerland or northern Italy, by travelers who do not, of course, have to reckon with the distance between points so far removed as Iduken and St. Petersburg. But what had been suitable and thoroughly satisfactory in Italy turned out to be not wholly so in Russia. The wearer of the cloak with the hood was a young man, also about 26, or 27, of slightly above average height, with very thick fair hair, sunken cheeks, and a light, pointed, almost completely white little beard. His eyes were large, blue, and fixed. In their gaze, there was something quiet but heavy, and they were filled with that strange expression by which some can detect epilepsy at first glance. Epilepsy, that fix you get, no? At a person. The young man's face was, however, pleasant, delicate, and lean, lean, thin, though colorless, and now so cold that it was positively blue. In his hands dangled a thin bundle made of old, faded silk, apparently containing all his traveling possession. He wore thick soled shoes with buttoned gaiters, all quite un Russian, not like Russia. The dark haired neighbor in the wool lined sheepskin coat observed all this, partly because he had nothing else to do. And at last, with that insensitive smile in which people so unceremoniously and carelessly express their satisfaction at the misfortunes of the neighbor, inquired, "Chili?" and hunched his shoulders. Yes, indeed, the neighbor replied with extreme readiness. And mind you, there's still a thaw. What would it be like a frost? I really don't think it could be as cold as this in our country. I'm not used to it. Come from abroad, have you? Yes, from Switzerland. Whew, you don't say. The dark haired man whistled and began to laugh. And we'll stop here. It is 6 minutes 41 seconds, which is okay. 5 to 7 minutes will be our videos. We'll come and see what happens to these two people in the first chapter in the book Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Thank you.